Alright, Piktochart is simply piktochart.com. I'm also linked in the Google Doc. And when you get here, you should be able to log in using your Google account through the school. And they just recently changed this, so something like this will pop up. And you want to go to infographic. The dashboard, these are showing your saved one. So when you save it and come back to it later, you'll go to the dashboard. So they have different templates you can choose from, so you can go that route. What might be a little bit easier so you don't have to constantly delete things is just to create a new one. That's what I'm going to do to show you some of the features. Alright, so you'll see that there are different blocks, they call them. This one has 3 of them. What you can do over on the side is you can create another block right here that's blank. You can delete it. You can move them around. So if you're working on things, you decide you want them in a different order, it's very easy to move around. And you can also, what's also useful is to make them larger as you're continuing and you decide you need more space. So over on the sidebar, we have a lot of different options of things to add. So on graphics, there's shapes and lines, which are fairly simple. What's really useful are the icons. So instead of searching for a lot of different images on the internet and trying to upload them, what you can easily do is search for one here, or you can even go down to different demographics. I don't mean demographics, I mean categories. And you can choose whether you want them as color or just black and white. So, and once you get them on the page, this one will go in the block you selected, but you can move it between blocks as well. You have options of coloring them, and I believe this locks them into position. You can arrange them so if you need to overlap, if you put this on a background, then you can make sure it's brought to the front. And you can also flip it if you need to. So the next there are photos. So again, this is really useful instead of looking around for pictures on Google. There are lots of different sceneries, and so you can make backgrounds out of that if you need to. And then there are also frames for photos, but which you have to drag onto a photo, not an icon. You can also upload your own images from Google. What I want to caution you about is the copyright information. So when you go to Google and you type in something and go to the images, what you should do to make sure you're not stealing someone else's work is go to Search Tools and go to Uses Rights and choose Label for Non-Commercial Use. And so these are images that you can use that aren't copyrighted, just to make something to keep in mind. Now also you can choose different backgrounds. You can either choose a color or you can drag and drop these backgrounds that they give you, and there's quite a few. That one didn't show up because it was really light, but you can see. Also check how dark it is or how light. Alright, so then there's also text, which is obviously important. So you can choose different titles and subtitles. These you can always change the colors and the fonts and the size of the font, so I wouldn't worry too much about what you choose here. What's also cool are the text frames. Now you kind of have to scroll for a while because at first they're themed to sports and then holidays, but once you scroll down enough, you'll be able to find just general ones of banners. Sometimes there are little numbers, so you can mess around with that. What I did notice is that you can't really change the color of these, so you have to pick something that goes with the colors you want. And lastly, there are the tools, but these you don't really need to use. You can upload a video, but since you're retelling the story, I don't advise this. There are maps and there are charts you can create, but that's really only, that's like an Excel level chart. So, then lastly, down here in the bottom, there's a button for the tour if you ever need to look at a different way of a tutorial. So you can preview it up here, or you can download it as an image, but what's really important is sharing it to make it public, so you need to give it a name first. And then you'll see that it's unpublished, so no one can see it. So you want to make it public. Unfortunately, you can't share it with other users unless you pay, so don't worry about that. You'll just have to do it on one. And it's going to make a link, and that's what you can use to send it to others, including your teacher. So I hope you have fun with this. It's a really cool program. And I have created an example of an infographic describing a myth that you can check out for some inspiration and what you need to include. So, thank you very much.